Hey guys, welcome back to the Chaotic Kids channel, where I'm Michelle and making fantasies come true, one story at a time. And today we're going to be doing a book review on Mystery in Rocky Mountain National Park by Aaron Johnson. I will let you guys know I currently do not have this book in my own possession because I gave it to my nephew to read. But so at the beginning of this month, I bought this middle grade mystery book. And the reason I bought it was because of the fact it was placed in Rocky Mountains, in the Rocky Mountain National Park kind of situation. And for me personally, I have a close fondness to different national parks. Growing up, my dad and our family, dad would take us on a family vacation with all of our family members. So my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, sometimes my older brother. And there were some vacations I went with my nephew, but Dad always took us on vacations where we would go kind of travel to different national parks in the United States. We never really stayed in one place too long, which I think is kind of unfortunate because national parks have such just are so beautiful. I don't know how to describe it, especially considering where I'm from. I'm from a very rural area where there's a lot of cows, a lot of farming. That's just kind of the environment that I grew up in. So it's nice to see these big, tall trees or the different terrain, and sometimes getting to see different wildlife. Because honestly, I don't I feel like every state has coyotes, but I don't think I've ever really seen a coyote. I have some people I knew, classmates when I was still in high school, they would see coyotes up in their yard. And I'm I never saw that. But then again, we live next to a highway. We would see dead ones on the side of the road, but never see them in person. But anyways, I remember some vacations where we would go to this national park. We would go getting ready for a hike. And for some reason, the one that sticks out to me, I don't remember where we were, but there was a black bear and its two cubs on the kind of on the path. So we were there for a little bit. We never really went on the hike, which just the fact that there was a bear that close and the fact that it had young, because I've always known bears are very protective of their kids. Honestly, every animal is protective of its kids. But the fact that all these people were just crowding around because it was so weird. One of the cubs literally looked like it was posing for the camera, and it was so cool. They ended up going up a tree, and I'm okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna. I've listened to people being killed by animals, and I'm no, thank you. But there was just so many vacations we would be ready, we would go and be okay, we have a checklist of all the animals we want to see or just want to see kind of thing. Never went out of our way to see them. It was just what's happened. But national parks, like I said, they hold a special spot in my life. And honestly, as I was reading The Mystery in Rocky Mountain National Park, I was I wish my dad installed this desire to know more. He did want us to desire more when we went to national parks, but I was a kid. I never really registered it. But just how this one kid, what was his name? Jack. But yeah, his name was Jack, or was it Jackson? No, it was just Jack. But his grandpa called him Jax, and I'm there's a relation, his grandpa just died, and this is the adventure that his grandpa kind of set up for him. But just the whole adventure that was happening throughout this book was so enjoyable. You actually got to see I think all of them were real places in the national park. I think some of them might have been slightly made up, but still rooted in the area and the environment that they were in. But this whole the whole adventure that Jack and his friends went on was so cool. It was a mystery series, and the grandpa kind of set up little scavenger hunt, not scavenger hunts, but like, you would go to this one place and look for clues, which it all kind of coincides to continuing on the book series. Because this book series, so the Rocky Mountain National Park is book 1 in a 10-book series, I'm pretty sure. One taking each one on the different vacations as Jack goes on journeying to discover the end goal kind of thing. But it was, I love this book. Like, I loved the relationship and like the memories that Jack had when it came to his grandpa, because like I said, his grandpa died, but Jack and his grandpa were very, very close. And so it was nice to get to see this like close-knit relationship that like you never saw it, but like yet you could feel the connection that he had to his grandpa. And then like just like how he wants to solve it so badly because it reminds him of his grandpa kind of thing. But like all these mysteries and like not mysteries, but all these hidden clues in the national park, I'm like, I want to go to these national parks and just look into it a little more and be like, okay, I want to, like, obviously these clues won't actually be there, but like I want to feel like I'm going through the experience, But it was a really, really good read. There was also a part, so I gave this book to my nephew. So I went on a little writing retreat / little vacation to my sister's. Is it really a vacation if I just went to my sister's? I don't know. But my sister went to my nephew's side of the family's grandparents. My nephew has different parents than my nieces. But they went over to this other side of the family down in Texas, and I had the responsibility of making sure that their chickens were fed, watered, and stuff like that. And also to get their mail and stuff. But before my sister's family left, I wanted to pick up the National Park book because it was one of the books that I brought with me down there. And my nephew has kind of always been a reluctant reader. He's never really enjoyed reading. So I was like, he was kind of him-hawing, not like dragging his feet when it came to reading, And so I was like, here, pick up this book and see what you think of it. And at that point, I was only at like chapter 2. So like I did know what was going on, but I didn't get the full experience of knowing 100% what was going on. So he picked it up and started reading it. And within the first, there's this like chapter 1, he was like, I don't really understand what's going on in this section because it was taking place in the past tense. And now at first I was like, oh, this is just a prologue, but, I didn't realize how big of employment and how big of a key factor that part was in the story, but that is such an important detail. It helps set up the world even more. But so I was like, okay. And he, like after he finished that chapter and went on to chapter 2, he was like, wow, this is actually a good book. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, have you never picked up a good book before? Like, I don't know. And like, he was like, hey, Michelle knows how to pick out books and stuff. And I'm just thinking, like I said, I'm thinking like, have you never picked up a good book that you want to read? And like, then I'm also like, he is a reluctant reader kind of thing. So I'm sure he doesn't know how to pick out good books or know his taste yet. But I gave the book to him after I finished it to him for his birthday. Which he's officially 12. And I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, I can't believe he's 12. But yeah, so I gave him the book and he's like, yes, I am so glad to get it because he wants to read it. And I'm just like, that makes me so happy because I'm like, I hope my love for books, like I will admit, as a kid, I was not the biggest fan of books. So I'm like, I hope as he grows, he will also find this fondness of books, because they're when you read a book, you can escape from reality, and maybe that's why I like them so much. I don't know. But yeah, this whole, the whole book was so awesome, and just getting to see my nephew's excitement to read it, and I was like, hey, if I were to get more of these books, like if I were to get you your own set of books, would you read them? And he's like, I want to read the books that you read. Like he wants me to read the book first and then give it to him kind of thing. And I'm like, dude, I will do that. Because like I said, I want to read the books, but also if it makes him read the books, that'll make me even more excited. Yeah, but this whole book was so cool. I absolutely loved it. And I think my nephew will really enjoy it as well. I currently do not have another book in my like middle grade section of books to read yet. I need to go head down to the mission because I'm kind of out of money right now to buy books. But yeah, I was just getting to see him inspired to read the book and me feeling like connected to my dad, and my dad's still alive. But like getting to like be connected to my childhood of national parks. It made me also want to like buy an RV, which obviously I'm not going to do because I don't have that money. But like to get an RV and just travel. Go to these national parks for like a week, get to go hiking, get to do all these adventures while still feeling centered, if that makes sense. But yeah, this book was so good. I loved it. If you guys are interested, like if you guys like reading middle grade books, I would highly suggest reading this book because it was a really good read. It was super quick and easy. I read it within 3 days. What I ended up doing on my vacation, my vacation writing retreat, I would work in the morning, work a little bit in the afternoon, then afterwards I would read a little bit, and that was the book that I read. And it was just such a great read. Highly suggest reading it. Like I said, Aaron's work, so Aaron Johnson is the author. He currently has, in this series, there's 5 books out. I don't know if he has other books out into the world. I don't think I researched that. But there are 5 books in this National Park series. Like I said, I'll leave a link to it down in the description to both book 1 and to the series. But yeah, it was so great. He also, one of his daughters actually writes books too. And as I was reading through the back sections, he actually had a glimpse of his daughter's book in there too. And I was like, that's so cool. That is just so cool. But yeah, I would highly suggest reading this book. It was such a great read. And honestly, I think I don't know if, I think a lot of little boys, or actually, this book is very gender neutral. I picked it up because I thought it was a boy book, but it's a very gender neutral book. But it was a great read. I can't say that enough. It was a great read. I highly enjoyed it. Going to buy book 2 in the series eventually. Halfway thinking about just buying all 4 books right away, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But yeah, great read. Highly enjoyed it. Yeah, so if you want to go pick up a great book, I would highly suggest it. But yeah, that's kind of all I got to say for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and remember to keep making fantasies happen, one story at a time, okay? And I'll see you guys later. Bye!